Hey everyone, Alicia from Leadfeeder here.
Hello, and Teemu from React and Share.
We are going to get started. We'll give people just a couple of more minutes to get in to the webinar since it's bright and early in the US, kind of ending our day here in Finland. I did want to go ahead and just share a poll and post this to you guys to kind of see who is from which roles within the organization. Hi, Andra. Nice to meet you. All right, let's see if I can. Okay, so I just published this poll. If you feel like sharing with us your roles, sales, marketing, or other, go ahead and feel free to introduce yourself and say hello to the others that have just joined in the chat. We really look forward to today, and like I said, we'll give people just a couple more minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Make sure the US is waking up and just starting their day over there. So far it looks like we've got some marketers in the room. That's great.
Definitely. It will be also interesting to see like from which country, but yeah, sounds like great audience coming here today.
Yeah. We've got folks from pretty much all over. We'll formally introduce ourselves here when we get started, but we are in Helsinki, Finland. No, I do not have a Finnish accent because I am from Chicago, but I'm here this week working with our team out of our headquarters. Awesome. Sweden, Netherlands, UK, Australia, Canada. Very cool. It's awesome that an opportunity like this is bringing all of us together. All right, I'm going to just check this poll here. Awesome. Yeah, so it looks like we have kind of quite a variety of individuals and responsibilities represented. If this recording will actually get sent out at the end as well. So if you have any colleagues or friends that were intending to join us, we'll send this over to them as well. But we'll go ahead and get started. So just some quick introductions. My name is Alicia Duddy. Probably would have been great for me to put that on my slide. But I am the sales and operations manager for Leadfeeder. I am based in Chicago. I've been with the company for about 2 years. I have a background in SaaS. So I started my career selling advertising, working at a company based in Chicago called cars.com. And from there, I joined a few larger organizations, Salesforce and LinkedIn. Always been in client-facing roles, always working with a combination of sales professionals and marketers that have the end goal of driving people to their product, their solutions, their website, understanding that traffic better. I'm a lover of dogs. I have a golden retriever. His 3rd birthday is coming up. Yoga and movies. Who saw Avengers Endgame? I mean, come on, how can you not love the Avengers? And then in the summertime, I love going to baseball games, and in the winter and the spring, basketball.
Nice. That was like good bridge from the movies to my background. A little bit about myself. I put here some things that has actually something to do with the content, so you know that I have somewhat experience in that field. I actually started as a content creator since I was a kid. I really wanted to create content. I had bands, we made songs, and we made silly funny movies or theater plays, and I ended up studying film and TV and media, and I wanted to be like the best director in the world. Obviously, awesome. I'm sitting here, so I'm not the best director in the world, but I've done my share of content in means of videos and movies and whatever comes, like web posts and articles and blogs and stuff like that. I went to work with a company as a content creator, like in a communication team. And we did a lot of like websites and tried to improve them and tried to make website to serve customers better. That was our goal a lot. And from there, I grew up to be a marketing and communication manager. And from content creator, I became like content utilizer. Like I used the content to reach business goals. So in that way, I've been creating content and using content. And now I'm actually doing sales. I'm doing sales for React and Share. We are a Finnish startup. And what we do, we want to increase the engagement with the audience. Like the audience meets the content and engagement is born. That's what we aim for.
Awesome.
Nice, but now I have like few slides, 20, but I'm gonna be fast.
They're gonna be good. We're gonna keep it lively. We know, like,
yeah,
we're
you
gonna
don't
keep it
fall
going.
asleep. You have instead you have been waking up so early, so you don't fall asleep. I'm gonna go and through all of them, and it's very great to be here talking about this subject. It's close to my heart. I've been talking a lot about content with my colleagues and other people around me. Now, when I've been doing sales, I've met hundreds of communication teams in Finland and in Netherlands, and talking with a lot of very smart colleagues who are very good at this. And now to actually share my ideas with you, I hope that I get some feedback or questions in the end.
Yeah, if you have questions, there's two options, right? We have this live chat, but things can get kind of lost in there if people are still coming in and introducing themselves. So there should be another tab that says questions, and we'll make sure that we touch on all that. We'll save time for that for the end. So,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I'm very fast. I'm very fast. But before we go, let's see what we're gonna have today. Today we're gonna talk about content, what is content in general, and go down. Like, I have a small example with one kind of content, how you can make it more engaging. We're going to talk a little bit about web analytics in general, what mistakes people usually do with web analytics. I don't have the right answers, but I have like the same mistakes that I have made. I want people not to do those same mistakes that I have done. Also, content is king.
Or queen.
Or queen. Yeah. This is something that people these days say all the time. We love content. Content is great. Content is king. People come here because of the content, but they don't actually measure the content, or they don't treat it as a king. Let's talk about that a bit, and then the importance of engagement. In the end, I'm going to talk to you a few words about React and share what we do and how we help in these situations. And maybe if you're interested, we can talk about it later, but let's save that in the end. Let's see how much time we have. But before we go into the content, few words about Leadfeeder and React and share. We actually are customers of Leadfeeder.
Awesome.
And it was, for us, it was very obvious. We wanted to know what companies come into our sites. We are a B2B software, and we wanted to figure out, like, do they like the content? Do they like our product? Who are they? Who should we be contacting? And if people don't get like the content that we have on our page, Leadfeeder is also very useful, because you can understand, like, oh, those kind of companies are on this page. They are not even like our dream customers. What are they doing? And you get like better feeling about what kind of companies actually are in your content.
And how they're finding you. I mean, that's super interesting to think about from a marketing or even a sales perspective, is what initiatives do you have going on that's driving the traffic to you in the first place, like SEO and any paid channels. So that's awesome. We love our customers, and we're really excited to be working with you guys today too for this webinar.
Yeah, nice. And we're gonna be talking a lot about the traffic and different metrics in marketing later in the presentation. But yes, let's get going. Okay, so what is content? And this is something that I think this sentence that is here, like, content is the presentation of information for a purpose to an audience through a channel in a form, very fancy way, very, very fancy way, but actually very accurate way to describe what is content. In the next few slides, we're gonna break it down a bit so you understand probably the sentence a bit better. But in short, content is some sort of thing that has a purpose, audience, it has a channel, people can look at it, people can use it. That's content. And content can be text, video, podcast, white paper, etc. We have tons of different ways of creating content and consuming content. This is very important that we are all talking, because I saw already that there's people from sales and there's people from marketing, probably people from different kind of communication units. You have different kind of content in your everyday life, so you think about it very differently. So let's narrow it down. First, let me go through like normal content measuring, like how we usually think about content and measuring it. This is just a normal website that sells shoes, and the thing is that people are not coming here for the content. They're coming here for the shoes. We want to sell the shoes, they want to buy the shoes. So we have like a common agenda. Like we agree that this is why you are here and this is why we are here. Let's meet. So it's very easy to say like, what is the proper content on this page? It's the size of the shoe, the color of the shoe, the price, and how to buy, when do they deliver. Easy things to measure. Like, do we have all this? Why people won't buy it? Why people put it in their cart but never order it? Where is the like luggage that they can't buy it? This kind of a content is, there's millions of tools, but it's a bit easier than to actually measure B2B content that should help people forward with your product, like white papers, blogs, articles, and stuff like that. So to make this useful as possible for all the visitors, I wanted to focus on the most basic content that we have on a web page. Probably every one of us has some sort of article or product page, or a page where you describe your service, or any kind of customer success stories.
Like testimonials.
Yeah,
and stuff.
testimonials and stuff like that. That's content that is a bit harder to measure than person coming there to buy a shoe. So now it's a bit weird, like, why do we have this content and what's the purpose of this content? Why do people need this content? And this is where it gets a bit tricky. When do you measure the traffic, and when are you like measuring the value for the customer? There is some tools. This is like, I hope that there's like resolution.
I think we're both gonna have to kind of squint a little bit. Yeah.
There's a few tools in the world that you can use to measure or boost your website traffic, and a lot of them are very, very great. There's thousands of great tools for different needs, but this is part of the problem. It's so scattered. It's so hard that we usually, what we do, we end up doing the same thing that we do with the shoes. So we start measuring the, let me see if I have it better like this. We start measuring the same KPIs than we do with the shoes. We try to put like some kind of a conversion for the text, like how many people
like signing up for a trial or something, or filling out a form.
Yeah, and there's like 1 in a million who does that. It's not so important for the customer to even do it from there, maybe, or how many people started talking to the chat there. Actually, that's very important. That's very good measurement. But it doesn't work like so. You measure how good was your content by measuring how many people came there.
Right.
Then what you're measuring, you're actually measuring like, okay, was that a good advertisement? Is this subject like popular? But you're not measuring, was that content good? To break it down even a bit, like let's go back a few slides. This was the fancy sentence that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, content is the presentation of information, blah, 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 blah. That's very good. That's a very good sentence. I'm not saying
it is a great sentence.
But it's like, But what it actually has in it, well, like, what is content? Content is information which has a purpose, which has an audience, some kind of form, and some kind of a channel. Okay. So when we are measuring with the normal, like Google Analytics or something like that, we are measuring, was this content good? We are usually we are measuring how much audience did it get?
Yeah.
Does this form work? Did they watch the video till the end, or something like this?
Or fill out a form or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or how long did they spend on the page? But
we're missing those first two things.
yeah. We're not like, did he get the information he was looking for?
Right.
Was he inspired by this? Was he already knew all this? Was there anything new for him? Did it fill the purpose for that person to come here? The purpose, for an example, was to build trust.
Right.
Or is this something that builds trust? How do we know? And if we know that, okay, there was 200 people coming here on this page, one subscribed.
Yeah. What now?
Yeah, well, it's like, it doesn't tell anything about the content.
Right.
It only tells about. But this is the point. If you want to measure the content, you have to also measure the information and the purpose. Was the information enough? And was the purpose filled? And few words about the purpose. What is purpose? It's like, for an example, if you go on a page, any page ever, you go there with a purpose: to buy shoes, to find info, to like to get more knowledge, so you're brave enough to buy, to get something else, some knowledge about the product. Does it fit in your like thing that you're gonna put in, like that
Right.
kind of thing? You want some kind of information, but the purpose is there. You came there for a reason. So that's something that you should be measuring. And it's very hard to do with general content KPIs. And in my opinion, this is not like only my mistakes, because I have made these same mistakes when I was working. I had like great team, and together we made this, or they made it, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. They made this great Excel form, like a Excel sheet, and it was filled with different kind of numbers, which were telling like this many people are coming from these channels, and these are paid, and this is the time they spend, and this is the return from investments in marketing, because this is the conversion that we want them to do, and stuff like this. And I was like, oh my God, this is so great. And I was looking at it with my boss, and my boss, who wasn't that like aware about anything coming to marketing or anything that has like digital in it.
Yeah.
So, like old guy, you know. And he was like, okay,
tell me more.
Yeah, did they like the page? He was like, did they? We had a new web page. Did they like the page? I was like, yeah,
sure.
They came. Yeah. They came.
Definitely.
They came to the page. Many came even from Google. And he was like, yeah. So the content was good.
I hope.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And that point, I really realized, like I'm not actually measuring the content. I was measuring everything. I was dancing around the content, but I wasn't measuring the content itself. And then I started to figure out I have to do something about it. And the thing is that many times when we have knowledge, and we are very good at measuring like how to sell shoes, and we're very good at measuring traffic and stuff like this, but it's just so hard to try to focus on the real thing. And when it comes to content, the real thing is that was the purpose of the customer who came on the page fulfilled. And you don't get that by measuring traffic. So we come to the point that the content is the king because it fills the purpose of the customer. And that's why the customer loves us, because we have the best content for him. That's why he trusts us. That's why he buys from us. So the content is king. This is something that everyone tells. But the point is to figure out what kind of a king your content is. With our customers, this is just fast rewind to react and share time. With our customers, there's a lot of times that our customer is a bit reluctant. Is that some?
Yeah.
Reluctant to start to measure the content because sometimes they're afraid. But what if we have like bad content on our page?
Ooh.
The fact is that you're gonna have bad content there. Did you measure it or not? The customer decide what's like bad content, what's good content, not you.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, I have to open this up a little bit. There's like good kings and there's also not good kings.
I don't think either of those is necessarily a good king.
Kings.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one is Lion King and the one is actually King Kong, which is not king at all.
I think I'm Team Simba here.
Yeah, Simba. Yeah, but you get the idea. Like it's about how people react to your content, not how you like your content.
Right.
That's the point. So then we go forward, and if this was a live situation, like I will see the audience at this point, I will ask like raise your hand if do you know the Simon Sinek's why, how, what. But because I don't know if you know it, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. You can Google it up. But the why, how, what, like the circular theory that is here, the point is that the most important thing is in the inner circle, and it is to understand why are we doing something.
Yeah.
Why is this important? Why are we doing it? After that, we can figure out how, and after that, what needs to be done.
It's almost like working a little bit backwards than you'd think, right? I mean,
yeah, it might be, but that's actually that's a very good point. That's a very good point, because a lot of teams that I have met, and I have said this exactly the same thing when I was starting this new website. We have to create articles. We have to create success stories. And I was asked like, why? I was like, obviously, so that when people Google us, they can find us from Google. They can find us from Google, and they come on our page, and we have so many good keywords there that we're going to be ranking #1 in Google.
Okay.
That was something that I did as well. But the point is, don't make content for Google. If you get anything out from this webinar, is that remember that don't make content for Google. Make content for the customers. And how can I get like how can I get to the why circle? Like, okay, if I don't make it to the Google, why am I making content?
I think it goes back to that purpose.
Yeah, it goes back to that purpose. Why do you have content? Yes, exactly. And you have to ask, there's like this trick that is like commonly used in every business. Ask yourself 5 times why, and then you're closer to the truth. And I made this with myself in my house when I was thinking about this seminar and thinking about my memories at the time. It was like, why do you have content on this page? So people find me from Google. And this is usually where we stop asking questions. We're like, okay, put the content. People will Google and come.
Okay.
But it's halfway done. Why do you want to be found from Google? So people will come on my site. Why will people come on your site? Because I have relevant content that they want to see. Why is your content relevant to them? It is valuable information and answers their needs. Does it? And that is the most important question if you want to keep your audience in mind. Does it answer the question? Is it valuable information? This is something that you should be measuring. Is it valuable information, and does it answer the questions? Yeah, there was the best places to hide body in the second page of the Google search results.
Wink face.
Yeah, that's true. And of course you want to be found from the Google, but it doesn't help you a lot if people come there and are like, okay, I came here because of the keywords, but this content actually doesn't answer my question.
Right.
And then they leave angry. And this is something that we actually see sometimes with our analytics. We see that, okay, a lot of people come here from Google and they don't get what they need. And I think that before this, people are like, yay, we have so many people from Google. If I have 20,000 people from Google, I'm really worried. Like, okay, are they happy?
Yeah.
Did they find the answer? What did they Google? Like, do we have that answer here? Was it
or
good
do we
enough?
have those words in our article?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Because-
the words
yeah.
I Googled. Exactly.
And many times, it's like, is it deep enough information for the customers that they need, for an
Right.
example? Or is it already too deep that they don't understand it? And quality over quantity, that's exactly, Brent said it in the chat. Exactly. If you want to measure quality, you have to measure the last line. Is it valuable information? Does it answer their needs? Traffic doesn't tell this. So when we put this in format, like the line that we have, the sentence that we had here before, information, purpose, audience, form, and channels. Audience, form, and channel, those are what circle. And in Google Analytics, for an example, I'm saying it's a very good way to measure things. It's a very good way to measure audience, form, channel. Actually, Leadfeeder is very good to measure audience. Where did they come from? What's their background? What's their company?
What type of company is it? Like,
Yeah.
is it your ideal buyer profile, or is it a company that would never be a good fit for you? Yeah.
Did they? How many pages did they go through? Those are very important questions.
Mhm.
Leadfeeder is very good on that. But how circle is the information. Like we are gonna fill their purpose with this information. So measure the information, get feedback from the information. Was this good enough content? Do you want more? Do you want less? What do you want? Happy? Not? Stuff like this.
Sad face.
Yeah, sad
Yeah.
face. And why is the purpose? Like, did it hit the goal? So those are the 5 things that you have to measure, but people are usually very good at only those 3. And it's very understandable because it's very, very, very hard to do those 2, but they're very important if you want to make like quality content. I usually, in this stage, I think it's very easy to explain in a way that this was a live situation. The people who come there, like we have, like, let's think about this webinar will be live.
Yeah.
Here, like
if everyone was in this room with us right
everyone
now,
was
it would be
in this
really
room.
crowded in this room. But yeah.
The audience and the forum, like you have a screen there, you're gonna present something, people are waiting, they already have their coffee, and the channel is that they are here and I'm on the stage and I'm speaking to the microphone so they can hear and they can see from the big screen. This is something that you can measure. But if you have live, like this kind of a situation, and if it was by you, like if you did it and someone asked you, like, how did it go? We'll just say like, oh, perfect, 620.
No, I'd say, well, people came up and talked to me after, or I could see the expressions on their face while I was speaking. Like,
did they clap?
Yeah,
yeah. Did they snore while you were talking?
I sure hope not, but.
So that's the point. This to see like, okay, we have this kind of a situation and this kind of a room and full of people and how many and stuff like that. That's very important to measure. Also, you can measure the content, like the information. Can people see it, like, and is it understandable for them and stuff like this? But the purpose is more like, how do they react to the content? Where they felt like they were blessed or depressed,
or informed or uninformed.
Yes.
Or happy or sad, or I mean,
Did they have questions? One question or millions of questions? Do they want more? What do they want more?
Yeah.
So this is something that we see in live situation. We feel it in live situation. But we should be measured online as well, right?
I think so.
How do you do it? You can do it in many ways. But the point is, give people opportunity to be engaged with your content. Because people are already very used to it. They like on YouTube, people give ratings, people give even ratings to different ratings, like how you have rated.
Right. A rating of a rating. Your rating was how what was that? How helpful was this? Like when you buy something on Amazon. Yeah.
And people give suggestions and people even comment, and it's very natural for us.
Right.
To just react to things. We can't even remember like how many things we have liked or we have reacted or gave feedback today. We just give it natural, like how.
Yeah, it's second nature.
Yeah. And this is something that you can also do with your content. But let's keep it up. Like, why is it important to increase the engagement in your own website? Engagement creates virtuous cycle. It creates positive cycle. Let's think about like any content that there ever is. If you go on a web page and there's 3 or even 2 ratings on it, and they both say 5 stars, you think like, okay, I'm not the first person here. Okay, they have liked it. I might give my own rating. I like it. I too do this. So we want to see, we trust what we see. We see that other people have gave their opinion. I should have an opinion too. Other people have been here. I should be here too. So it's very important to show other people's footprints, like.
Yeah, have a voice.
Yes, exactly. It's like walking on a street and you hear a party, like you hear like, okay, there's a club that way. Should we go there?
I don't know. Maybe that's Helsinki. You guys are a lot of fun out here, but
we were here last weekend.
This is true. But yeah, you assume, okay, like I must go and see what's happening.
It creates trust. It helps people to have their own opinion. It helps people to have their own voice. It creates customer happiness in every way, and it creates a virtuous cycle where when someone has seen something, you want to see it as well.
Right.
And now we know that, okay, one kind of a tool is like add this, like share buttons or something like that. But it's still like a bit high level that you go share it on social media. You have to have like different level engagement on your site, so people are constantly trying to be engaging with your content. But Mona Lisa is a very good example. There's so many people in front of it, you can't even see the painting in a picture. But what if no one had ever taken a picture of it? No one will have ever talked about it. That's content. Mona Lisa is content. It's only content, actually.
Yeah.
But still, millions of people want to take pictures of it because millions of people have to picture of it.
Right.
So that tells like engagement creates engagement. And we have actually, with our tool, let's go in the last few slides to that one as well. But we have figured out as well with a few of our customers, we have seen this. The same thing that happens with Mona Lisa kind of is that we took like conversions from that page that people went like that from that content, how many people went and ordered the product.
Okay.
And with our tool, what we say is the engagement score of that content. They, sorry. With our tool, how much engagement we could create.
Okay.
And those two correlate, like in this picture.
Conversion and engagement, yeah.
When there's a lot of engagement, there's usually a lot of people willing to buy. And when you have engagement in many levels, like low-key engagement, share this engagement, comment this engagement, and stuff like that, when you figure out like, okay, these contents actually have a lot of engagement in it, these are very valuable for us. These are something that goes very close to the customer's hearts. It's very important for the customers, these contents.
Because we trust others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to create more of this because it seems like that it correlates with our business. This is valuable content for us and business-wise. And this is when you're actually measuring the content. You're measuring something that people do around your content. How can you do it? There's a lot of tools. Of course, Discuss and different commenting widgets, Facebook commenting things on the web page and stuff like that. Also, there's a lot of different kind of reaction buttons and add this and share this buttons and happy or not, like was this content good and stuff like that. We do this as well. We're pretty good at it. And I'm going to tell about that a bit later. But the point is that try different kind, like different level of engagement. If you have everything, like you have to be there with your own face, you have to be signed in somewhere to comment.
Yeah, sometimes people might not want to do that.
Yeah,
and then what, they don't have the opportunity then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you don't get that many comments. That doesn't bring in so many comments. So have tools that keep it light, just like Kiss or Kiss, no.
Kiss metrics, or even or
a thumb up, thumb down kind of a thing. Up vote, down vote. If you've Reddit is familiar with you, that kind of thing.
Got
where
it.
people can just push of a button, have an opinion about the subject. Then you can start learning, like, okay, what does our customers actually want to hear? And the thing is, I've met with hundreds of different teams, and what bugs me the most is that they are quite shy to actually get like feedback from
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. And the ones that dare to ask feedback actually can push the best content out there because they're interested about what our customers actually want to hear about it. They spend their time properly because they're creating exactly what their customer wants, and they're deleting everything that their customers hates. And then they have the advantage in the business. But it's very weird that like we are not that good at taking feedback from our content because, well, probably it's like
people get attached to it.
Yeah.
You spend all this time and
and you're creating something.
Exactly.
It's from you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Drop it down, forget it that it's you. Remember why you do it. Go back to the why question. You're doing it for the customers, not yourself. Measure it. Get feedback and measure the content. I'm going to show you now how we do it. Our solutions are like these brandable reaction buttons. I used to have a GIF here, but we couldn't make it work. So now it's like stationary picture.
Imagine it like doing it. Just imagine. We're all creative people here. Yes.
And no worries, because you can, after this, you can book demos with us. We can show how it works, and if you're interested in this kind of stuff. But yeah, we have this kind of this is like easy, simple widget on a website that you have, or plugin on your website that you have just under the content. And usually it's written content that has some pictures or stuff like articles and
blog posts or customer customer success stories.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Okay.
And then we ask some kind of a business question. It depends really on the business, but what did you think?
Did this help you?
Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Did this serve you? These kind of things. It depends a bit about the website. But anyway, here is an example. What did you think? And it was like useful, convincing, new info. I don't understand. If it's useful, if it's convincing, we can say like, okay, I want to share this on social media. After the reaction, and this has gone up, like social media shares up to 17%. Or it can trigger like, I don't understand the comment. You can give feedback to the people who write the content, like, what do you want to hear about?
Yeah.
What do you want to
Where
know
did we
more
miss
about?
the mark? Yeah.
And usually, for an example, if you have some kind of a commenting tool on your page or something like that, these kind of easy, simple, fast-clicking feedback things get 40 times more feedback for the content. So it's like, even if you have like some people on your site, it might be like hundreds of feedbacks to the content. So it's very useful. Also, what we believe in is that the data that you get is humane, like it's easily understandable, and it's for the people who create content. It's not like tens of thousands of number and your boss.
I was going to say like super.
Back to the story that my boss was asking. Like, okay, did they like the content? Yeah, sure. I don't know.
But I have all this data. I can show you. Yeah. I can show you.
Can't you see?
Chart. Yes.
Yeah, but what we want to do, we want to keep it simple. We want to keep it pretty and easily readable, and you get very fast look that, okay, what my content is successing, which is not, and how can I make my page work better. But yeah, it works very, very well. If you're interested about our solution, how to increase the impact of your content, please go reactandshare.com after this or something and press request demo, or read yourself how our customers have used it. And
maybe read some blogs, customer stories, leave your reaction.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, but that's what we do. And this is, I want to say in the end of this presentation, this is very important subject for me, because I have been working, working as a content creator to be content utilizer, and now I work with a tool that I can meet a lot of teams that work around content, and especially like website content.
Yeah.
And this is very interesting how people react to my vision of how you should be measuring the content. And and great to hear feedback from you after this. Oh, and remember to, let's go through summary soon, but remember to add me in LinkedIn, and you can there also chat with me.
We'll go back to that side too.
Yeah. And in summary, if I want something for you to remember, stop making content for Google. Ask yourself 5 times, why are people coming to my page? Make engaging content as easy as possible. So make the engagement as easy as possible. Low-key engagement, a lot. Measure all elements of the content, not only the audience, form, and channel, also the information and purpose. Did people get what they need? And this will take you very far when it comes to creating better performing content with engagement.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I know we've got I looked at the registration list here before we started. I know we have like a lot of Leadfeeder customers in here, and you're always analyzing the traffic that you have to your website at that level. It all goes really hand in hand, because if you're driving traffic to your website with a purpose, understanding kind of the reaction, the engagement to that, and how it can help enable your team to grow, your sales team to reach out to companies that would fit into that ideal customer profile. Really important stuff. So thank you very much for all of that. Let me pull your contact information slide back up here, and we're good. We're going to open up for some questions. I believe we had one here when we were first getting started. Yes, Chris, we had a question from Chris. We will have the on demand. It'll be on leadfeeder.com. Let me put the link in there so you can access it, but we'll also email it out to you so that if you had to leave early, well, you probably wouldn't still be here actually if you had to leave early, but anyone who did leave early, we'll send it out. We have some great webinar resources. This will probably be up there within the next couple of days, I would presume, but any other questions, go ahead and just chat them in, and we'll hang out here for a little while.
Yes. One question that is, I think a lot of people ask me is that, isn't it enough that we know if content is good, if people are talking about it in social media, or if we post about that subject and if it gets a lot of commenting or likes or shares or something like that, but if it has a lot of happening around it in social media, is that good content? Can you tell that it's good content? And what's very weird, if we remember the slide where it was the correlation between business and content engagement, it had nothing to do with social media. Social media, when you are doing it with your own face, like for an example, Facebook,
or LinkedIn,
LinkedIn and stuff like that, you're not actually talking out loud your own opinions. More you're talking about is that I want to be seen in this light. I want people
that to know that I care about this.
I support military, or I support like gay marriage or something like that. Whatever is your like values and stuff like that, you put that kind of messages up so people can see you in certain light. But that's not like, sometimes they haven't even read the content. Those kind of
they're
things.
Just sharing it because they're trying to like come across as proving value, or like I see it on LinkedIn all the time. Being a former LinkedIn employee, this was something that I talked about with my clients all the time. I sold a solution for them. I'm sure a lot of you have. It's called LinkedIn Sales Navigator for 2 years. And people would say, well, you have to post something this many times to show up in someone's feed so they remember you, and make sure that it's something that supports your brand or supports the, how you want to come across. And I would see people like not even putting their own thoughts, just like sharing an article. And I'd say, why did you share that article? What did you take away from it? Like, put the 3 bullet points of like why you're sharing this with somebody, other than just saying, yes, look how smart I am. I read an article about this political viewpoint in this whatever. Like,
and ditch it. Like it's more like and it's more like just sharing and what want to be and that's like that's a good measurement, like what kind of a subject has things happening around it, but it doesn't necessarily tell you was that good content, or could it have been better, or how did the masses think about it.
Awesome.
Measure the masses.
And we have a couple of questions here from Brent. So thank you, Brent. The first one is, do you recommend content variations for mobile versus computer users?
It depends about the content, of course. In the end of the day, I would say no, but in some parts I would say yes. And this comes, for an example, if you have like, if we're talking about website content, if you have something very hard like animations, or if you have
GIFs.
Or something like pictures that is hard to open on a phone that or doesn't work.
Or if it like takes up the whole screen, like you don't want people to just.
Then I will think about it. But at the point when you're thinking about, but is this too long for the mobile? This is a question that you should be asking, like, is this too long for desktop or anything? So usually I think they go a bit hand in hand, but there is there is some variations.
Awesome. Yeah. Brent is bringing them at us. What are great content triggers to influence the returning visitor? So maybe some of those good questions, right, at the bottom, like to bring them back again.
Yeah.
More.
Content triggers. I'm trying to figure out what's like the content trigger that you're after.
I think maybe he's thinking, they read the article and they found it super helpful and they clicked, the question was this super helpful? And they said, yes, it was super helpful. Are there certain questions you can ask to prompt people to come back and read your content again? I mean, I think the fact that you're asking is, and they're saying yes is,
you're
going to see you as an expert.
Actually, that's very good. That's like a very good question to think about on your own side. For an example, if you have like good content and people liking the content, you can suggest him like, okay, share this content, or want to read other people who liked this also like this, to read this. So people spend more time on your site, go to another article. Or if you see that, okay, this article is like definitely a hit, like a lot of people are reading this, should we
put it in the other
put it on social media, or write part 2 and even suggest like remarket that part 2 to the audience that liked the part 1. That's also what you can do with our tool, is that to understand which part of the audience was very engaged, like really spent time there, actually probably gave feedback and stuff like that. And for that super engaged group, you can also market like part 2 content or something like that.
Okay.
To get it. Very good question.
Yeah. Last one here from Brent. Are you seeing video content to be more popular for quick engagement? It depends on your audience.
And it depends about the content, as well. I used to be, because I have video background, I think I'm like, I'm not the right person to answer this because I love video.
So yeah, there we go.
That's the answer.
I mean, and it depends on your audience too, right? Like, I know for me, there are certain things that I seek video out because I have a short attention span. But then there are things where I really want to dive in and I want to take time and I want to read through it.
And I think that probably the right answer in terms of like when I was studying marketing, the right answer will be that choose that kind of format that is the best for that kind of content. For an example, if Ronaldo does a great goal in football, you want to see a video or a GIF.
Yeah.
Or
you don't want to read necessarily like a 5-page article detailing how he prepared for it and what he had for breakfast that day.
And if there's like, this is the list of 15 things that the government decided about some subject, you just want to see the list because there's probably a few things that you want
can
to see.
jump through it.
So I think that's the right answer from what I can remember from marketing. Choose the best format for that kind of a content. But also it's very hard to say what's right content when you have like trying to, for an example, a Leadfeeder page, you have customer success story. It would be great to see the customer on video as well to talk about the product,
which we definitely do.
But also have like
like this and that
case study and probably a few numbers and stuff like that. So that's probably think about that way.
Cool. So now the next question we have here is from Dan, and Dan is asking, which organization would you say is a good example of a strong content producer and who integrates it well across multiple channels? Well, gosh, I mean, I think Leadfeeder is pretty darn good with our content, but I mean, that's just a shameless plug. Do you have any particular?
Wait. I was trying to find the question.
In the orange right here, So kind of asking for a recommendation.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is probably pretty good. Do you have like
A Leadfeeder, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have like some engagement buttons. We have social sharing. We have, like you were saying, if you read this article, here's some suggestions of other things that you might read.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys have a good customers, and you probably have some customer testimonials on your website.
Yeah, we have
So
ton of
go and check out
customer
reactandshare.com. Yeah.
customer testimonials. And also the purpose thing, I want you to remember the purpose thing, that don't do the go back to the thinking like, let's do this content for the customers.
Yeah.
So the right question always, what comes with for an example, what is a strong content producer? Is the one who actually understands like the customers very well and actually reaches almost all of the potential customers. And there in that way we have like very good, like we have national health system in Finland that, like, how do you say it?
It's amazing.
Well, anyway,
We'll just say it's amazing.
Millions of contents, and they measure it all, and they have like experts watching like what is doing well and what is not doing, what answers the questions about health and what does not. So very useful. Good question.
Yeah,
very good questions.
See, we were wondering what kind of engagement we were going to have.
yeah, this is good.
So
nice.
Yeah, I think we have about time for one more here. So let's take this one from April. April asks, my SEO agency insists that we need 300 words per page for Google searches.
Yeah.
Is this necessary? How do you manage this for pages that don't have 300 words?
Yeah, that's also, I think Google like SEO work is very important. You have to do it, like you have to make your content very easily accessible
and digestible.
Yeah. And people try to find it from Google, and also what Google is trying to do is that you have like good headlines and you use pictures that have meta info correct and this kind of stuff. So everyone is trying to like help the customer to get to the right location. Your SEO agency is right that if you want to be found easily, do it, find a way how to do it. But more important than the fact that did people find on your page is the fact that did they find what they were looking for from your page.
Right.
And if you have tons of people on your content and they can't find what they're looking for,
does it matter that you showed up higher?
Yeah, it doesn't matter that you showed up higher. It didn't. But yeah, they're kind of right. Try to reach those Google optimal limits if you can. Don't miss your good night's sleep if you can't. But try to reach those. But always remember, why are people coming on this page, and try to serve that thing.
Awesome.
Very good questions.
Really great.
I love it. I
know. Thanks for either waking up with us or ending your day with us, or gosh, all of the above. Really beneficial. As mentioned, contact information here. Check out React and Share. Check out Leadfeeder. I didn't put my contact information, but you can find me pretty easily, I'd say. I've written some content on our blog, so let me know what you think. But Alicia Duddy with Leadfeeder. We'll go ahead and end this here. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Let me make sure we don't have any. Awesome. Thank you, Brent. Thanks for your great questions, everyone.
Thank you. And remember to go to our webpage, reactandshare.com, if you want to learn more about it. And you can send me like direct questions, more email or LinkedIn, whatever you want, if you want more answers from me.
Awesome. All right. I feel like we need to like sign off with a high five. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.